I'm Sebastian St. James. There is a dangerous act that people are doing every day, and you need to stop this at once. Picture this. You've gone to town for a lovely night out. You've parked the car next to a parking meter and you go to your wallet or purse and you're out of cash. Never mind, you've got a credit card on you. You can't use it on the meter, but you can go to your local convenience store and withdraw some cash directly from your card. What could be simpler from that? You withdraw your cash, go back to the parking meter, pay the parking meter, and nobody's gotten hurt, right? Well, no, that's not the case. This could be a dangerous act if you don't know exactly what you're doing. You see, there are two ways which you can withdraw cash from your card, and not everybody understands what the difference are between those two ways. And if you get this wrong, boy, is this going to cost you. The two ways of getting money from your card is, number one, your own money. Well, you pop it into the machine and out comes cash, sure, but it is actually your own money. Or number two, it can be the bank's money. Do you know the difference? If you have a debit card, then if you withdraw cash on that, whether it's from an ATM, an automated teller machine, or whether you go to the local gas station and withdraw money there, then it is in fact your own money. So fear not, you're quite safe in that case. If you have a credit card and you do exactly the same acts, then it's not your money, it's actually the bank's money, and that is a problem. Cash out from a credit card is called a cash advance, and that's the problem we're discussing. The reason is you're getting access to cash you don't own, hence the advance bit of the cash advance. Hang on a minute, Sebastian. I use my credit card all the time. I pay my bills with it. I go out for lunch and I charge it on my card. Credit cards are something I'm familiar with. Why should I fear this cash advance? Normally, credit cards are reserved for paying for things directly like goods and services. And yeah, they're normal credit cards then. But if you actually get cash, real cash in your hand by using your credit card, that is not a normal credit card transaction. No matter how much you think it is actually something deliberate and separate, and it's called a cash advance. There are two problems. A credit card and a debit card actually look the same. Your debit card may have a Visa or a Mastercard logo on it, in fact invariably will, and in virtually all respects it looks the same as a credit card. When I pay for my groceries on my card, which happens to be a debit card, and I swipe it, it will actually go through the Visa or Mastercard networks. This is true. But at the back end, when it gets to the bank, it will be directly debited from my account on the spot because it's a debit card. By contrast, a credit card will look the same as a debit card, or a debit card looks the same as a credit card, whichever way you look at it, but that will be billed to you at a later date. Typically at the end of the month, they will give you a number of days to pay that, and of course that is how a credit card works. The problem is that you may not have actually set up this card in the first place. You may be using your husband's or wife's card or your mother's or father's card, and you might not really know what type of card it is. In Australia, we have an EFTPOS system, which is an electronic funds transfer point of sale, if you ever wondered what that means. I could take my credit card, well, it looks like a credit card, pop it into the machine and get cash out. But because it's actually a debit card in disguise, then it will not be a cash advance. It will be the same as drawing money directly from an ATM. It is actually my money. If I do exactly the same action but on a credit card, absolutely everything changes. From then on in, nothing is the same. Firstly, it's the bank's money. It's not actually my money at all. Although it's given to me, it is definitely a loan. The bank will actually charge you fees straight away to get out the money if it's on credit card. There is a $3 minimum fee or 3%, whichever is higher. The figures I'm using now for the fees are taken from the CBA Bank, so your bank rates will probably be somewhat similar. So if I need $10 to pay the parking meter, that's all. It's a small amount of cash. I go and withdraw it with a cash advance, but they whack on a $3 fee. So that's $13 which I've had to pay now for a $10 amount. That is a 30% instant fee just to get my $10. 30%, that's like payday loan type of territory. It's massive. Hang on, Sebastian, I'm one step ahead of you. I actually pay off my card in full every single month, and I have, say, 55 interest-free days to pay that on. I will not be affected by this little problem of yours. Well, yes, you will, because cash advances are different from normal credit card transactions. Firstly, you are struck with that fee the second that you make it. There is no interest-free days when it comes to that fee. Secondly, and this may surprise you, you are actually charged interest every single day. So sure, you may get interest-free days when you normally pay for goods or services, but with a cash advance, there is no such thing as interest-free days. You pay your initial fee, which is 3% or $3, and then every day you're charged at your full interest rate. Every day, there's no free days. Surprisingly, the interest that you're charged on your cash advance actually may be at a higher rate than you would normally pay on your credit card. Credit card fees are basically the highest in the world, other than, say, payday loans, but the cash withdrawal may be charged at a higher rate again. Were you expecting that? So how high can this fee be? Well, the initial fee, the 3% or the $3, can actually be up to $300. That's where they cap out the fee. This is in the case of the Commonwealth Bank. So that can be pretty expensive. As far as the interest rate, well, that's up to the bank to decide, isn't it? Cash advances are basically the worst way that you can possibly get cash into your wallet. There's virtually every other way you can think of is going to be better. Coming up shortly, I'll be making a video on what type of debts are okay to have and what type of debts you should absolutely avoid. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. There are 5 better ways of getting money into your wallet than having a cash advance. Here they are. Option number 1 will always be do not run out of money in the first place. If you know you're going to have to feed a parking meter, make sure you have that cash in your wallet or purse before you go out. Keep some cash always at home. Keep $50, $100. Keep coins if you know you need to feed meters, but just don't run out of the cash in the first place. Option number 2, let's say you're going out with a friend to a movie and that's why you need to feed the parking meter. You go to your wallet, oh, I have no cash. You say to your friend, oh, do you have $10 on you? I'll feed the meter and I'll give it back to you tomorrow at work. So that can be an easy way of getting the cash advance from your friend. They're not going to charge you a fee, and if you give it back to them tomorrow, they're not going to care. You might be thinking to yourself, Sebastian, it's well and good for you to say, oh, always have cash on you, but I live paycheck to paycheck and just sometimes I don't have the cash on me, and then what do I need? A temporary cash advance sounds like a good system to me. The problem is that cash advances are quite predatory. They're not a good option to get into. Virtually any other way of doing it is better because they're just so expensive. They make your expensive lifestyle even more expensive, and if you can't afford things now, you certainly won't be able to afford them after getting a cash advance. But hang on, what happens if I need to pay the electricity bill or something like that? Surely that's acceptable. Surely on your higher mighty soapbox, you can accept that I need to pay for bills. Well, that's okay because you don't pay with them for cash advances. Cash advances are only for when you need to get direct cash in your hand. If you genuinely need the cash up front, maybe you are living paycheck to paycheck, the cheapest way by far will be getting it out of your mortgage. If you're paid right up to date, perhaps you've overpaid ahead of time, then sometimes, depending on how the loan is structured, you can get some cash back, and that cash withdrawal will be paid at the interest rate of your mortgage, which is the cheapest by far. That's the best cash advance you can get. If you don't have a mortgage, well, personal loans. They can be ridiculously expensive, but they'll always be cheaper than the interest rate on a credit card. Is this cash advance the reason that I need cash right now actually a genuine emergency, or is it just something I want? Oh, I need to go out to the movies. I need to pay the parking meter for an optional expenses that perhaps I shouldn't be there in the first place if I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Always ask yourself, is this the right thing I should be doing? Because it is going to cost you so much in the end. Getting cash out so you can spend it at the casino, for example, is not a valid emergency. You heard it here first. Let's say I'm going to ignore your advice and I need to get a cash out. How much can I expect to get? Well, it will be affected by your total credit limit. Your credit card will have a credit limit, a total max on it, and that will affect how much you can get out on your cash advance. Secondly, it will be the daily withdrawal limit. So you'll have a total limit and then you'll have a credit card amount that you can withdraw each day, and that will affect your cash advance. In addition to the daily credit card limit, how much you can spend each day, there's typically going to be a daily cash withdrawal limit, a cash advance limit, and that can be separate. Do you know that your bank has the right to refuse you or to cut down the amount that they're going to give you in your cash advance? Banks are not an equal opportunity giver. When you get a cash advance, you're actually getting a loan, and the bank has full rights to deny you that at any point. So why might they do that? At that point in time, their systems may decide that you are in fact a credit risk. I know, who would have thought that? And they might refuse you a cash withdrawal, even though yesterday they gave you one. It's totally up to them and their systems. Secondly, it may be where you're withdrawing. Your bank may decide that getting cash advances at a casino, for example, is not something they wish to support, and therefore they have the right to deny cash advances based on where you are. Just depends on their policy. Typically, the default amount that you can get on a cash withdrawal or cash advance is around about $2,000. That does depend on your bank. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, or if your expenses in general are far too high, do you know there's one expense in particular that you can reduce, and reduce significantly? I've done a video on that. Go ahead and click on it here.